Hello and welcome to the training of the balance sheet and trial balance. When you purchase this product, you will receive two files, one named Balance Sheet and Trial Balance Example, and another named Balance Sheet and Trial Balance Product. You can see that the product has no figures in it, and the example has the figures in it. I'm going to use the example to show you how this Excel file works. Please note that there are a number of worksheets in this Excel file. We are currently in the balance sheet worksheet. Then there's a trial balance worksheet and worksheets numbered in sequence further along in the file. The functionality of the balance sheet works from the entry of figures into the trial balance. The trial balance is a standard chart of accounts which you can edit to suit your own requirements, as long as you edit the account names in line with the categories running along the left-hand side of the names. For example, you cannot change that account name to be an expense because it's in the category of sales, so it needs to be renamed to still fall within the sales category. These accounts can only be used for other income category, and expense category would be the same principle. The loan account's the same principle. I skipped the equity there, would be the same principle. And the long-term liabilities, fixed assets, and current liabilities. You will see that if you try to edit or change one of the category names, it will not allow you to do so, but when you try to change the account code or the account name, it will allow you to do that. And the reason for that is to remind you that you need to keep the account name in line with the category indicated on the trial balance. So the two values of this product so far that I've shown you, it gives you a standard chart of accounts that you can edit to suit your requirements, and it gives you the functionality of entering the figures onto the trial balance, which will automatically update the balance sheet figures, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a little while. The other worksheets are linked to the numbers running along the left-hand side of each heading and account name in the balance sheet. So, for example, if we click on Worksheet A, which is Assets, it will explain what an asset is in some detail, as well as giving you examples of transactions that result in amounts being in asset accounts. You can then take entry into the worksheets either by clicking on the actual worksheets at the bottom of the Excel file, or you can access those worksheets by clicking on the blue number next to the name of the account. So if we want to go and look up what it says on property, plant and equipment, we'll click on the blue number and it will then take us to worksheet 1A immediately, which then gives the explanation of what property and plant and equipment is, what you need to take into consideration when you account for it, and it also supplies you with a template of a fixed assets register. This value in this Excel file applies to all the accounts and headings on the balance sheet. Explanation and examples of transactions that result in entries in those accounts represented on the balance sheet. And now, to get back to how the trial balance links with the balance sheet, you will see if you click on the figure in the balance sheet, it will then refer you to the trial balance as to where that figure is coming from. So in this case, for property, plant and equipment, the figure is coming from the trial balance, column E, row 139 to 151, minus column F, row 139 minus 151. And you can either access the trial balance at the bottom of the worksheet, or you can access it on this link here. So if we go and have a look at row 139 to 151 on the trial balance, row 139 to row 151 represents the fixed assets. And in the balance sheet, it's adding up the debits of the fixed assets and it's subtracting the credits of the fixed assets, column E and column F. So if we had to delete all these figures and we go back to the balance sheet, that value will then be 0 because it's getting the figures from the trial balance in those columns and rows, and we've just deleted them. We can go back to the trial balance and undo the deletion, and the figure will then be back in the balance sheet. So all the trial balance figures that you will enter onto your trial balance in this Excel file will automatically update the relevant balance sheet account that it needs to, and your balance sheet will balance. Your total assets, 491,208, will agree to your total liabilities, in this case 491,208. And this example you receive when you purchase the balance sheet and trial balance. The actual product, like I said, will be blank with no figures in it for you to then enter your own figures, and of course it will still have the educational value within the product for you to learn how a balance sheet and link to a trial balance works. If we then go and enter figures in the trial balance, for let's try a different one, trade and other receivables, which is your debtors, and that is explained if you click on the blue number. Trade and other receivables is a trial balance, column E154 minus column F154 plus column E155 minus column F155. So if we go to the trial balance and look for row 154 and 155, there is the debtors, and let's enter a figure here, and let's enter a figure here. It will then update your balance sheet accordingly. So as long as you keep your chart of accounts within the correct categories, your balance sheet will be updated automatically from your trial balance, and your trial balance will also calculate for you the current year's net profit or loss. The first time you use the product, you will enter the previous year's balance sheet numbers, because a balance sheet does require disclosure of the previous year's balances. And then for each year going forward, you would use your own trial balance to update the current year's figures. And of course, you can edit the name of your business and the month and the year that you are preparing the balance sheet for. That will relate to the same date, of course, in your trial balance. When you edit the name of your business in the balance sheet and the month and the year in the balance sheet, let's just use February 2011 as an example, it will then automatically update the name of your business and the month and the year in your trial balance, to try and prevent you from entering another month's figures in the trial balance and expecting the result of a different month in the balance sheet. And that, ladies and gents, is how the balance sheet and trial balance product works. And like all the other products, if you have any significant changes that you require or need any further support on using this Excel file, please feel free to pop us an email. I hope to speak to you again very soon. Ciao for now.